was a king. He had one sister, but she was very ill and sang trances all the time.
The doctor had said,
no venison would cure her. You know, there's an old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. She might be cured if she eats one.
The king had no choice and declared,
whoever brings the apple that cures my sister will become ruler instead of me.
A peasant girl heard this and decided to go to the castle with a basket of apples. As she walked through the forest, she met a fairy who asked her,
what is in your basket?
it's a basket of frog's legs.
It will be as you say it is.
as the peasant girl arrived at the castle, she said,
I have the apples for the princess.
She was let in, and when she reached the king, she opened the basket, and inside were loads of frog legs.
Get this fool out of my castle! I promise, I filled it with apples.
The peasant girl was kicked out and she went home to tell her sister the bad news.
You must try instead then.
Her sister picked some apples. As she walked through the forest, she met the fairy too. Again she asked, what is in your basket?
if you must know, they're pig's noses.
It will be as you say it is. As the sister arrived at the castle, she said,
I have the apples that will cure the princess.
She was let in, and when she reached the king, she opened the basket and inside were pig noses.
Get this fool out of my castle!
But I swear I had filled it with apples.
The sister was kicked out and she went home to tell her older sister.
Then we're doomed for a life of poverty.
may I try?
The sisters looked in disgust at their younger brother. They both used him as a servant and didn't care for him much.
If you could find a cure for her.
If we can't help her, you certainly won't.
But may I try, please?
Oh, I guess there's no harm in trying.
The brothers set off through the forest after picking some apples. As before, the fairy asked,
What is in your basket?
Inside this basket I have the apples that will cure the princess.
It will be as you say it is.
When the brother went into the castle, the doctor was reluctant to let him in.
I've had to clear up all the frog's legs and all of the pig's noses. You're not coming in unless I see what's in your basket.
The brother opened his basket.
I see. But you just have apples in there. Okay, you can come in.
The king eagerly watched as the brother offered the princess the apple.
All at once, she took a bite and came out of her trance.
I'm cured!
The king and the princess were so happy, but the king's celebrations were cut off when the brother asked,
So when do I become the ruler?
I don't really mean it, fool. I just wanted my sister cured.
The princess felt sorry for him and said,
A promise is a promise.
Alright then, if you bring me a feather from a griffin's tail, you may become the new ruler.
But isn't a griffin a mythical creature?
This is my condition, a griffin's feather or no deal. He will never be able to find the griffin, let alone bring back a feather for me.
In books, the griffin is supposed to be a very knowledgeable creature.
If this is true, ask him where the lost key is to my money chest. I cannot find it anywhere.
As well as this, ask the giant why he has to carry people over the lake all the time. I've always wanted to know.
The brother set off and he bumped into the fairy again.
Where are you going?
I'm going to find a griffin so I can pinch one of his feathers so I can become the king. Also, I need to ask him where the princess's lost key is and to find out why the giant carries people over the lake.
It will be as you say it is.
The brother reached the lake and he was carried across by the giant. He crossed safely and he thanked the giant.
No problem, I guess I'll see you on the way back over.
Finally, the brother found his way to the griffin's house.
Wow, so he does exist.
He knocked on the door and the griffin's wife answered.
You can't go knocking on the Griffin's door, young man. He'll eat you up.
The brother told her why he was there and the questions he needed to know the answers to.
Leave it with me, but you must hide as, like I say, he'll eat you up if he finds you.
The Griffin came home.
I can smell a human being.
There was one here, but I sent him on his way. Funny thing he wanted to know where the princess's key was and why the giant has to carry people across the lake.
The princess's key is in the woodhouse under a log for safekeeping, and the giant, well, he could be freed from the job by throwing someone into the lake.
The wife quickly plucked a feather out of his tail.
Out, 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 out! What did you do that for?
And when the Griffin had fallen asleep, she had handed it to the brother.
Here is the feather.
Thank you.
The princess's key is in the woodhouse under a log for safekeeping, and the giant, well, he can be freed from his job by throwing someone into the lake.
Thank you, again.
Before you go, help yourself to some of the clothes in the next room, and the jewellery. They belong to the many people that the Griffin has eaten. I don't want to be reminded of it, so take as many as you can carry.
The brother did so and left.
Hello again. I said I'd see you on the way back over. The brother showed the giant some jewellery and said he could choose something as a thank you for the lift. You're so kind. I don't know which one to pick. That one. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The brother ran off and returned to the castle. He gave the king the feather.
He then told the princess and the doctor what he had learned.
They were amazed.
I'm off to the woodhouse to look under the log to find my key.
And now I know a giant can be freed from this job by throwing someone into the lake. I better get a ride before someone tells me of this.
The princess and the doctor left the king with the brother.
A Griffin gave you all these fine clothes and jewellery, did he? I want some of that wealth too.
More wealth, Your Majesty. You're the king. You couldn't possibly want more.
You can never have too much money.
And he set off. After a while, he came back to the lake and asked,
Take me across this lake so I can see the Griffin.
Of course I will, Your Majesty.
As the king had a piggyback across the lake, the giant said,
I'd love to be a king. I really hate this job, Your Majesty. I wish I'd do something else and didn't have to carry these people over the lake day in, day out.
The king remembered what the brother had said.
Do you know you didn't have to do this? All you need to do is just throw someone into the lake and you are free.
Really?
and with that the giant threw the king into the lake.
Then he ran off happy to begin a new life as a Morris dancer.
The king was drowned.
And so I became king.
The lost key to my money chest was indeed where the Griffin had said it was, and so I went on a world cruise.
Sister and I went to see our brother, the king, and begged for forgiveness.
As he was a decent human being, he did forgive us, but we had to be his servants for a while.
So we remember to always be kind.
And the fairy? Well, I'm always about when you least expect. So always try and tell the truth, as they may be close by listening.
I thought we were going to be in this film.